Hi, my name is Fulton Abraham Sanchez. I am the CPA with the firm FACPA Consultants, and today we're going to speak about offshore bank accounts. Many times clients want to open an offshore bank account, and this is precisely about the objective that they have as an individual or as a business. As a principle, banks require quite a few documents to open the account, either for a personal objective or a business objective. As a principle, they require passport. Also, they require the passport have to be certified, and also a bill to verify the residence. We have the case of a client who he had the spouse of the client had all the addresses and all the bills at her name, and the client who wanted to open the account, he didn't have any proof of residence. So the bank didn't accept the application because he was not able to provide proof that he was living in the country that he said that he was. In that case, the person who will open the account is the spouse, in this case, or the individual who can prove that there is a residence, and he can prove the resident in the country that he lives. This is for the documentation. And remember, banks for that are very strict because you don't have to go to the place to open the account. And this is the virtue of an offshore bank account, is that you don't have to go physically. Your presence is not required to open the account in any the jurisdiction, offshore jurisdiction. The only thing that they need to verify if the person who is showing on the passport has a proof of residence that match the country of the issuing of the passport. Now, in terms of the business description, either there is a personal account or a business account, the bank is going to require that you describe your business. And this is critical because whenever the account is approved and you're receiving funds, the money that you are receiving needs to match to the business description that you have posted on the application of the account. So that's why it's very important that there is a synergy, it makes sense. The description of the business, and later on when the account is approved, the funds that you are receiving and why you're receiving. And I'll explain that in a minute. In terms of recommendations, the bank requires professional recommendations and also banking recommendations. A professional recommendation would be an accountant or an attorney that needs to give you a reference that he or she knows you, and also for the bank. The bank is even more important because this is a place where you hold an account in your bank in your country, and at least you need to have the account for 2 years, and they have to provide a document there. If that is not in English, then you need to translate the documentation into English. Now, all these documents, sometimes they prove cumbersome. That the reason that all this is required is because the banks work with their compliance. And remember, whenever you are doing transactions with an account that you either do personal or business, your business or your personal account needs to match the source of funds whenever you receive money. This is because you are not allowed to receive third-party funds in your account. You will not be able to justify it. Second, the transaction will be returned and the account will be closed. So be very careful. As a principle, if you open an offshore account, either personal or business, you will not be able to receive third-party funds. For that objective, if you want to receive third-party funds, you need a different kind of account that is called corresponding bank account. And that is how the offshore bank is offering the services to you. This bank is using a corresponding account with an American bank or with a European bank, and because of that, the bank is going to require, whenever you deposit funds in the account, in addition to the documentation like the passport and bill of residence, the description of the business and recommendations. In addition to that, whenever you are, and the account is approved, whenever you are receiving funds in the account, the bank is going to require the proof of funds, right? The source of funds. You receive a deposit from a client, then show the show the bill and show the amount and prove that the money that you have received is the same as the money that is posted on the account, because they need to provide that documentation to the corresponding bank where they are using to receive the funds with you. So all this documentation that is required, because as you have to prove them, they have to prove as well to the European or US bank where they hold the account to serve you. This is why this is very important, compliant, and perhaps that is one of the most strict requirements for the offshore bank accounts, that any time when there is a transaction either in or out, you have to prove the source of funds and you have to prove the reason why you're doing the payment to satisfy the compliance of the bank. In terms of jurisdictions, Belize is a very straightforward jurisdiction. It's very amicable for the approval of accounts. The only thing is that it takes a little time to prove the transaction, because Belize doesn't work directly with corresponding. This is about the corresponding thing that we speak before. They don't have account directly with US banks or American banks. They have it through a third party, and then that third party bank has at the same time an account with the American or European bank. That's why it's a little more of time here, because a few years ago all the corresponding large banks, they cut off all the corresponding accounts with Belize. So Belize doesn't have direct corresponding accounts with large banks. Antigua is a very amicable jurisdiction. It has increased controls in these years, but the process for application and approval of an account is very straightforward. Antigua is more, let's say a more prestigious jurisdiction, and they do have corresponding accounts directly with large banks. Cayman Islands is perhaps the most prestigious one. But banks there are they have a specific profile for clients. For example, we have heard from offshore banks officers that they do not want a particular account. They want a specific profile of client where the client can open a personal account. Then the client also brings the business, and finally the client increases the profile of the account in terms of investment. So they want to grow with the client, and that's a very specific profile for Cayman banks, because they hold this prestige that allows them to provide or to give or to select this kind of clients. Now, to help our clients to sort all this process, we have created some plans. Between the silver, the gold, and the platinum, they are designed specifically for a need that the particular client could have. In this case, the silver account is designed for the bank account specifically. Whenever the silver plan is for the bank account, specifically when there is only the need for a bank account, either personal or business, then the silver plan is a good option. Now, the gold plan is when, in addition to the bank account, the client also wants to incorporate an offshore company. And the platinum goes for the incorporation of the offshore company, the bank account opening, and also the constitution of a trust in one of the jurisdictions. If you want to see more videos, you can check our reproduction list. You can also subscribe to receive updates whenever we post more videos. And if you want detailed information, click on the link that is on the description box of this video. Our website is FastCPM Consultants, and send us an email.